Did you know that 85% of the 68.5 million displaced people in the world are hosted in countries that are remarkably less resourced than Canada? While Canada's geographic location has historically limited the impact of global migration trends, recent changes to U.S. immigration policy and increasing xenophobia have contributed to a drastic increase in irregular migration to Canada. Since 2017, over 20,000 asylum seekers have entered Canada through unofficial entry points at the border. This recent influx has backlogged the asylum processing system and resulted in up to 2-year delays, leaving local support systems scrambling to accommodate the growing number of refugee claimants. While waiting for their claims to be processed, refugee claimants are under a great deal of stress in regards to their uncertain futures in Canada. This is further compounded by systemic barriers that refugees face in accessing employment, housing, legal services, and building social networks. The City of Toronto's temporary fix has been to relocate the growing vulnerable population in hotels across the Greater Toronto Area. This decision has proven to be incredibly costly, unsustainable, and inefficient. It has largely isolated refugee claimants, creating greater challenges to their social and economic integration, and provides no recourse for transitioning them into affordable housing. Refugee Family Connect aims to match refugee claimants in Toronto with family homestays across the GTA to foster socially cohesive and integrated communities. Host families provide refugee claimants with temporary accommodations, inclusion in family and community activities, and informal mentorship to support their social and economic integration. Refugee Family Connect also engages in educational consulting work for companies and schools to spread awareness and understanding about refugee and asylum seekers living in Ontario. This also functions as a social enterprise, as the revenue generated will be used to provide financial compensation to the host families. During the first year of the initiative, crowdfunding will be used for startup costs. Partnerships will be formed with ethno-cultural community hubs, settlement agencies, and religious institutions, which will also help in connecting with volunteer host families. To evaluate measurable outcomes, the project will assess the number of refugee claimants in affordable housing, the number of refugee claimants with full-time employment, and a social network map will be used as an evaluation tool to measure social cohesion. Once outcomes have been evaluated, Refugee Family Connect will apply for a social impact bond to create long-term sustainability in the project. This initiative will function as a cross-sector partnership through collaboration between the voluntary, private, and public sector. Refugee Family Connect is a social innovation that disrupts the system and fosters social change in a variety of ways. As a product innovation, it increases refugee claimant access to affordable housing and expedites social and economic integration by expanding social networks. As a process innovation, it alleviates the burden on the Toronto shelter system, under-resourced service providers, and improves efficiency in government spending. And finally, as a socially transformative innovation, it increases awareness and changes perception of refugees and asylum seekers across the Greater Toronto Area and beyond.